Today's a special day.
Why is that, Shannon? Why is today a special day?
Today is a special day because it is your birthday. Yeah.
My 33rd birthday is such a fun birthday. It's your 33rd birthday. This is your Jesus year.
Yeah.
I someone just shout out to Aida. She told me about the Jesus year things. I didn't even know that, but I can relate to that. It's the year what Jesus passed away and Jesus died. So everyone says that this is the year that you really give away those childlike qualities of yourself. You just become a full grown adult. Even though I feel like I've been adult for years, but at least there'll finally be a stamp on it.
Yeah, I think this is a year of coming into your own. So I'm gonna start off by saying happy birthday. I'm so excited that we decided to do it today of all days because I feel like today in general is a celebration, but we're really celebrating you and all that you've done, all that you've accomplished. A lot of times when we talk, you were giving me my flowers. So today is a day of giving you your flowers. So I love and adore you. I'm so happy that we're able to do this partnership with Not Your Enemy that has turned into this
This
web
podcast.
series, podcast, everything, and so much more. So I'm excited for today, and let's just get into the questions.
All right. Okay.
How has the social climate impacted you and your work?
The Not Your Enemy collection. That was it. Similar to what Chantel said. If you guys haven't listened, we interviewed photographer Chantel Phillip about how it affected her work, and I too was not interested in doing anything because nothing made sense in the beginning. Nothing really made sense. I wasn't really I wasn't getting out to the people and getting inspired. Nothing was moving me. I was just in the house. Um, and I just felt like I lost it a little bit, and I didn't know what to say. And then you start to take stock of what you have been saying, and you're looking at it like, well, this is not even what I think that I should even be talking about at this point in time. So I was at a bit of a loss. And then, of course, when we started to witness the killings and the murders of just Black people in America, we witnessed a lot of loss, and I felt as though outside of that. And when you are a person like myself who feels that pain and that grief, it hits you. When the pandemic was going on, I lived close to a hospital, so I heard the sirens and I heard the ambulance trucks going around. That just broke me. Um, but when I witnessed just the unjust killings of Black people in America, it angered me because I had saw this before, and I had to channel that energy someplace, and it finally found a place because I had always wanted to do that, to really channel that type of energy, and I didn't know what to do. And when we came together, it was just the right time to use that energy for something more than myself, something more for just pretty pictures. I wanted to have some intention behind my work. I wanted to have some say behind my work. I wanted to make sure that I was giving back as well. And that's just how my artistry changed. And then Not Your Enemy was born.
And us having the conversations before the conversation before Not Your Enemy even came to be, just seeing the growth and transformation of what your artistry was to what it's becoming now and what's going to happen in the future is really exciting. Especially with the world, it's good to have somebody that you can create with that understands the anger and the frustration and being able to push our emotions into something.
That
Um,
anger is just a real part of it
yeah,
all.
really, truthfully. So how does it feel like having people wear your artwork?
It feels good. It feels like we have a walking billboard in a way.
Hmm.
And what it feels like it's one step. The whole purpose behind this was to make sure that the conversation was going continuously. We wanted to make sure that we weren't just talking about this because it was a hashtag or before. I thought that things were going to start opening up more. And I thought by this point we would be back to our normal um our normal, whatever normalcy was prior to this. So I just wanted to make sure that we were putting something out there that people constantly were going to be wearing and
Right,
seeing and have. So now that I see it, I'm like, yeah, this is good because this means that the mission keeps going.
right.
It's such a proud feeling though, to see somebody in your shit, and actually liking it. And yeah, they're buying it because they know us, and then we have people who don't even know us, but the fact that they're buying because they like it and it resonates is such a, I've never felt nothing like that before.
Yeah. And I say artwork because I mean, we had the artist for I Am Human on here, Callie, and she designed. Now that's artwork, but I want to give you credit because before this, you were not thinking about designing, and these are your designs that are people wearing. So I'm gonna call it artwork for you too. So there we go.
How was it? We was trying to hire somebody. We were like, we're
Yeah,
gonna hire somebody on Fiverr because I really was not. But that goes back to just um, believing in yourself, and you're one of those people who just was like, no, Jared, you have that. That's something that I did struggle with for a very long time. Just really, is my work worth it? But when I started to take that away and pull back from that now, it's like, no, this is what the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I can only give you, this is the highest of my abilities that I'm executing at, and that's what matters. And I know that I put the work in now. um so it was just so cool that it's me that people are wearing. One of my close friends, Danielle, she said that people are buying this because it comes from you, and I didn't understand that. And that was like, wow, people really like it.
right, right, right. So I'm glad other people are telling you that too, and it's not just me. Um, so what and who are some of your inspirations?
I take my inspirations from a lot of different places. Music is a huge inspiration for me. And it's sorry, the bikes is going by. That's what happens when you're in Brooklyn.
Fine.
Nice, give me a sound studio. Um, Music is huge for me. I'm one of those kids who grew up listening to music. When first thing when he came home from school, my grandmother had 98.7 Kiss on the radio. When she passed away, I was listening to Angie Martinez and Funk Master Flex, and I graduated to Wendy Williams. And music was so huge to me because I would follow these artists and just understanding the business behind music, but then also understanding that creativity as well.
Mm.
And seeing what the artists would do and how they would change up their rollout and their marketing, but how they would change up their who they were for their particular album in that era. Like we know this era of Rihanna because of this, or Jay Z because of this, or Kim because of that. And I kind of embody that a little bit. And you see that now with how I roll out my stuff. Like I'm putting out outfit photos. I'm like, yo, in my head, this is an album. This is my track list. These are, each track is a different look. And I pull that directly from that. I was the kid that would go to the Wiz and buy albums and read the booklets and try to understand. Even though it made no sense to me at that time, but that's what I did. My mom, that was every Christmas or birthday, like that's what I look forward to, is getting an album. So music is a huge inspiration for me. Art, museums, and my friends. There's nothing like looking at people who sit right next to you. Issa Rae, she said we need to start networking across versus up.
Mhm.
And when I work with my friends, and you included, and Danielle and Chantel and all these wonderfully amazing people, that's what inspires me to see what they're doing, and feed that energy to each other is beautiful. So and I can go on and on about inspirations. My freaking grandparents. I just did a podcast recently, and the interviewer asked me, how do you remember your childhood? And I said, oh, just going outside and hanging out. But I forgot to talk about my grandparents, because they inspired me. They raised me. They showed me. They taught me. They took me to these places. I had a Polaroid camera, and my great grandmother would take me around with her, and I had that camera with me. So if it wasn't for my ancestors putting me in these places, there would be no artistry that I have today.
Yeah, and shout out to your grandparents and your mom for, I'm gonna tell you, this is a college story, so we're gonna get into this, but you are the first male to ever teach me You know what I'm gonna say? To ever teach me that women and ladies need to be on the inside of the
Yes,
sidewalk. The men are always on the
yes,
outside. And you used to
yes,
yell at me, but like Shannon, why? And it was so foreign to me. But
yes,
like you
ladies.
set the standard. You set the standard for everybody else. I was like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. Like you're supposed to walk on the outside. And
Yes.
so thank you.
Ladies, if you're walking with a man, you are supposed to be working on the inside, but those were just those things that I was taught. And that came directly from my mother when she used to walk me to school. And she would teach me this as a young kid.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, she was taller than me telling me these things.
yeah.
But those are the things that I was taught. And I knew that it was important. And I just knew as my place as a man and just taking care of women, and this is what you're the role that you're supposed to play. And yes, you walk on the inside and I protect you from them things that happen on the outside, because and this is a partnership as well. You protect me as well. But it was just every time I walked in the street with a woman, it was like, get your ass over here. Just in case some
Like
shit pop
literally.
off.
Oh my god. I that takes me back. But anyways, yes, that was a lesson that I have literally taken for the rest of my life. So thank you for instilling that in me.
No problem. You're welcome.
Um, what are your favorite, like I think you kind of touched on this, but like what are your favorite styles to wear? Like
Hmm.
you're always sharp no matter
Thank
what
you.
you put on. So
Thank you. I'm just my style is very vintage and very chic, I would say. My a lot of my clothes come from like just wearing other people's shit, and like hand me downs, going to the thrift store, and I never kind of got out of that. I have this very retro vibe to me, and I'm just so drawn to that. To be fair, I wish I dressed like everybody else. I swear to God, like I love going outside and seeing the fellas in like their Jordans, and all those like that very urban New York vibe. But I just never, and for me to be from Brooklyn, I just never really caught that, and never really looked good on me. My mom, she put my outfits together when I was growing up, and she sent me to my great grandmother's house, and she would always itemize out what I'm wearing. And I think all mothers did that at the time, but like for me, I just thought this was like this thing, and it always stuck with me. So I always had that kind of thing. So like my style is just so retro, and I try my best to break out of it, but it's just always this like throwback. So yeah.
listen, I love your style. I
Thank
don't
you.
care what you have on. It always so let's talk about what's next for you. This is a day old question that most interviewers ask. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Okay. Jesus, where I see elevation for myself. Um, that's what's all that really matters to me. I think that I have started a cycle for myself. If you look at myself 5 years ago and 5 years prior to that, I'm pretty much doing the same thing, just on a different level. So for me, it's just all about leveling up, but staying consistent. I see not your enemy still moving and that evolving in some really fun ways, but some ways that are still keen to us. Like I see a fashion show. I see more of this. Like we were, you just talked about podcasts, but we ran a radio station. So this is the obvious next step for us to be doing this. And if anybody should be doing it, it is us. Because we already did it and did it well. It wasn't like we only had one adult advisor, and the things that we did and saw and created, it was super dope. We have stars. DJ Damage, he's working with Jason Lee. He was a WHIP the Temple Studio and radio station host back in the day.
DJ,
You know, that's
yeah,
that's crazy. So I see that type of momentum, because I look at him and I'm like, yo, if he can do that, then I can do something too. So it's just all about leveling up. Like I don't ever want to be in a position where my shit's not changing, because that's what it's all about. Um, yeah, and just really knocking more shit off the list that I have set for myself. And like I said, keeping Not Your Enemy moving, making Tim K more than what he is now. Even though I'm in love with where he's gone. And yes, people I talk about Tim K in the third person, but yeah, just leveling up, man, and seeing what a new Not Your Enemy design looks like.
yeah. I definitely think evolution and just constant elevation of self is super important. I think that um, me, I am everybody's cheerleader. Like you tell me like an idea, I'm like, okay, well we could do this, this, and this, and like I see this for you.
Hmm.
And even if that person doesn't believe it at the time, if I see it, I will tell you. I will
Right.
say this is, what you're capable of because I
Right.
see great things in a lot of people, whether they see it themselves or not. So I'm
Well, that's how we
definitely
got here. That's
yeah.
just that's what it was all about. Like y'all don't know this. If whoever doesn't know this story, Shannon is the one who told me to start a style brand and told me to do these things and really said something that spoke to me and was like, "Hey, if anybody can do this, it is you." And she's the one that gave me the the mindset to just start, because I thought that I had to have certain things lined up in a row, and she literally was like, "Just start." And that was the day that I went to my coworker's desk and I said, "Every day at 4 o'clock, you're going to meet me downstairs and you're going to take a picture of me and we're going to do outfit photos." I legitimately saw someone taking outfit photos one time. It was like I had never planned this. It just was like, this is what we're doing. This is the look. We're going to find different locations to do it in. And I'm just going to dress up. And I was already getting compliments on my outfit. So it made sense. And had you, Shannon, not say that on that day, I would have never even done that. Like that wasn't even a priority. And look at us now.
Honestly, I when you tell me this story and it's like for me, I was just having a conversation with you. Like I didn't even think anything of it. I was like, okay, well, whatever, just an idea.
No,
And
it's just like you spoke something to me that day because I think it was just a day when I was having a bad day.
yeah,
It was just one of those days where I'm like, yo, I don't know what's next, but it's not this.
right.
And I have no idea how to get to that next step. I was in a job where I'm like, yo, I don't know how to get to part B yet. Like I'm still stuck at A. I don't know how to get to B. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know what to do creatively.
Right.
I'm in a relationship, but like I don't even know what the fuck what that's doing. So
Right.
I'm literally was just like confused, and that was a day of peak confusion where you came and gave me a path,
Yeah.
and it was stuff that I had thought about before. But I'm like, people are just telling me I dress nicely just because they're telling me to dress nicely because I don't think that I am. I think that I'm over accessorizing. I think I'm looking like a clown out here. This is just how I'm feeling at the time. But when you told me that, I'm like, boom, I know what to do. Like and I told you this back in college. You light the flame in me that you lit the match that lit the bomb. Like
Yeah.
it's just like you would say certain things and like, boom, all right, cool, go. And that's just how I am now with you with this working. But that day was the day Tim K was born. That was the day I turned my Instagram to Who is Tim K. That was the day I started that outfit challenge. It just kept moving.
Oh, the memories. Um, but this is not about me. So let's not, let's
Right,
bring it back to you.
right, right, right.
So all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop this on you. So about 10 years ago, you participated, and we're gonna have her on to talk about this again. You participated in Chantel's documentary, Just Keep Swimming,
Oh, okay.
right? And like I told you guys in her on our separate conversation that we're again gonna bring it back, that literally stuck with me. So as we talk about conversations and stuff that stuck with us that we've told each other, that documentary was kind of like I was just getting out of college. You had already been out for a year.
Mhm.
I was figuring out like, hey, this ain't easy. Like, what am I doing with my life? Where's my job? Where's my income? All this stuff. And it kind of just puts you at a place of, just keep going, just keep swimming. And so that my question for you is now looking back, that was 10 years ago. What's your advice for somebody that's just starting out, right? And at the place where you were at before Tim K started, where you're like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah,
I have a passion or I feel like I have a purpose.
yeah.
What would you tell somebody to encourage them to just keep swimming? That's a
That's
good
a good
question.
one. Trust your gut. I think that's
Mm,
the only thing that you can possibly do is trust your gut. And same thing that I did with Tim Case, just start somewhere. When we graduated, I knew I had to start. So it was, I'm gonna get an internship, I'm gonna get a part time job, I'm gonna take these things. Like unfortunately, we didn't raise with an opportunity of having someone who, or at least I didn't, who has like a pile of money saved for you when you graduate. I didn't have, like, I wish that I had some of these talents, or no, I'll take that back. I wish that I recognized these talents then. I wish that I would have groomed these talents at a younger age. I have my own hangups about that, but you have to start where you are, and you have to figure it out from there. So I knew that I had to start working. I knew that I had to keep moving up and leveling up in that world. So I would just tell someone to just start, trust your gut, and be patient. Um, we have to you There are a level of dues that you have to pay, and you only get things when you're supposed to get them. If we would have had the level of success that we're having now at a certain age, we probably wouldn't have been able to handle it. I probably wouldn't even have had the emotional intelligence to handle some of
Right.
the things that I'm doing now.
Right.
Um, and that's just something that came from growth. And you look at other people who are getting shit at a young age, like, they can handle that. That's on them. Like, I know that looking back, 22-year-old Jared would not have been able to handle. Like, I was good though. Like, I did my thing, but like, I don't
Mhm.
think that I would have that intelligence to do that. I didn't have the right people in my life at that time. I didn't have the right setup. I didn't have the right foundation. So when you just got to be patient, but you do have to start. Uh, I can throw a few things at you because these are all things that I'm learning now. Like, stop. Sometimes you gotta get out of your dream and stay in reality a little bit. It's important to daydream, but it's important to look around and realize what's happening on around the ground around you, and take stock of that and really just lay that foundation. So there's some steps to even that, uh, but keep it cool, and the um allow the universe and God to take you on that journey. Brianna just said that in her latest for Savage, and she said just allow God to take you on that journey.
That is so. I kind of just want to end on that because I feel like that's the best advice. Honestly, I feel like once you hit 30, those 20s experiences, you learn one, trust your gut. Because if you trusted
Hmm.
your gut, you would have probably done a couple other things differently in your 20s.
Right, a whole lot of things differently with your money. If anything, well,
Right.
number one, fucking get your money together. Like, you
Yeah.
don't need the sneakers. You
You-
don't need sneakers. You don't need to go out. You don't need to go on that trip. You don't need to do none of that.
I
But
mean, but here's the thing.
yeah,
Every action has a reaction. So if you want to go on that trip, that's fine. But 10 years from later,
you're
like
gonna
I
be broke.
just, yeah, yeah. I think that, but even when you said like the right people, I think that God will everything has a season. And so
Mhm.
maybe in your 20s you were not with the people that are supposed to be with you in your 30s and that are going to take you into your business, that are going to take you into your next step. And so it's
Right.
important to be patient and let that journey wherever it is. Like some people don't hit big until they 50. Like that was their journey. You can't compare yourself to anybody else. Um but just start and like that everything you said way more eloquent than I'm saying right now. But it was good. Good
Okay.
advice. I'm
No,
gonna take some of
but
that too.
you say, but I want to ask you. Can I ask you a question? A
Sure.
couple questions.
Conversation.
Yeah, like this. You asked me about my inspirations. I want to hear about your inspirations.
So I've had like over the span of my life, because when I was younger, you're gonna
Yeah.
laugh. Um, I was like, I am about to be a bomb director and I'm about to do all these crazy movies and I had all these ideas and then
What did you graduate? Where did you graduate? I mean, what was your major in college?
broadcast telecommunications mass media. So I had
Okay.
gotten the things, and then I was like, but I didn't do film because when I first went to temp, I was like, I don't know if I want to do film. I was like, actually, no, I kind of just want to be in control of like what's done. So maybe like producer. And then I was like, I don't really like editing, so I don't know if I'm a producer. So it was like I went to college with thinking I knew what I wanted to do. And then I was like, I just want to create. Like, and I couldn't figure out what that meant. But I was always fascinated by Tyler Perry. Like beginning Tyler Perry when he was doing like the circuits of the
With
theater, and I
the
had Sorry Tyler, I got all the bootlegs of his of his plays, and I was like, yo, this dude is like interesting. So when his movie started to come out, I'm like, he's on to something. And then like now he's like a billionaire.
right.
So he was always someone that I was super inspired about. I actually like wrote him several times. I
So
had a
you're gonna
friend
be one of those. You're gonna be one of those people. You'd be like, "Well, I wrote him back in 2005, and guess what? He got back to me. Now I got this big time job. Well, you better take me with you because I
I
need to
read
get on
like here that's
somebody's
what I
TV."
listen, I listen, I a lot of things would change, but like I literally like that was somebody I was like I want to work with. I just knew that I wanted to create. So anybody that has kind of created something and you see like I see the start to finish, like he's just one of those people that I followed his whole entire journey and was kind of in awe of. Um John Singleton. It's usually directors and Spike Lee.
So would
Um
you be open to doing that again? Like, would you be like, would that be somewhere down the line?
I don't know. I feel like maybe it's gonna all come back in full circle because literally when I was younger and I would watch movies, like that's like asking even my family, I used to watch movies and that's all I did. Like that was my TV and movies. So everyone, I even like I wrote like a book or like a script. I won an award at Temple for like second like best script.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. So it could come full circle. I don't know, but I just know my passion is in
We
creating.
just learned something new here. I did not know this.
Yeah. So and then me and Danielle, we got first place, second place for our documentary. So I did some stuff at Temple. I did some stuff. But
Besides go to
yeah,
Maxie's, we did more. We worked.
yeah, we did some stuff, but I think that what happened was I let fear get in the way.
Okay.
You know, you question yourself. Are you good enough?
Right.
Right? And so I kind of was like,
Fear, yeah, fear will fuck you up all the time, and
yep,
I know it has fucked me up on plenty of occasions. But
yeah. So it could come back full circle, but the Tyler Perry, John Singleton, Spike Lee, Issa Rae, business
mm,
wise, I don't watch Insecure. That's crazy, but I follow Issa Rae in the sense of what she's doing business wise. So
right.
those are the things that inspire me. I love Amanda Seals. Um, one like if my brother and me, if y'all know that show from Nickelodeon.
Right. And
Follow.
you touched
Go
yeah,
ahead.
but you touched on something that was really cool, specific business. I think that's the one, outside of everything else that I said, get your business together. That's what's really important. My granddad, the rest of his soul, he looked at me one day in his final years and was like, "Jared, you're a businessman." And the one thing that I have learned about things that I do is I am a businessman who has a love and style, who has a love for style and fashion. I am not a style and fashion guy who does business. There's a difference.
Mhm.
So I have an appreciation for these things, but I'm here to understand the business side of it and grow it.
Right.
Because that's what's most important. That's what I went to school for. That's what I know. So when I am, I think just knowing who you are and learning about these things are like super duper important, and learning about business. And I just always want to make sure that I'm getting back to the business, because you never want someone to say they had bad business with you. You never want somebody to say those types of things about you. You always want to be known for your business.
I could agree with that. I think for me, I'm not great at business, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. I do a
You're
lot
gonna
of stuff for
surprise me.
I do a lot of stuff for free. I do a lot of stuff where my value is not, and I tell this all the time. People are like, even with you, I'm like, charge. Because I've learned my lesson by doing a lot of free stuff and being taken advantage of. And
Hmm.
then even if you do, if they deem you as bad business, because maybe then you ask for a fee, right? So if
Right.
you start off on the right foot, foundation wise, and you know your worth, and even if they're your friends or maybe are not your friends, and they're taking advantage of your purpose and your passion and your skills for free,
Hmm.
that could be a detriment. So for me, I'm not good business all the time. I do a lot of stuff for free. So, but I'm
Right.
learning, and I'm learning to like brand myself as this is what I'm good at. This is what I can do. If we're not meant to be, that's fine. Like there's no hard feelings. This is business.
Right.
And
Right.
I've learned to separate that. Like we could be friends, and if our business doesn't work out, we can separate that. It doesn't always work that way with some people, but I've just
Mhm.
learned to separate that friendship or that part, whatever we have. If it's business, we're business. We're gonna talk about what we're gonna do. We're gonna have an agreement, and then that's that. Because I've learned my lesson. I got burned way too many times doing favors and freebies.
No, ain't no free favors and freebies around here.
So,
Yeah.
you have any more questions for me? Because I'm gonna give the doozy on your birthday.
No, I just was curious. I have so I'm ready for this doozy though.
I don't think it's gonna be that bad for you.
Oh.
What is your greatest fear?
Mm. It used to be failure, but I'm embracing failure. Um, because how else are you gonna make that shit work? I don't know what my greatest fear would be. I think one of my greatest fears, I take that back. I do know not seeing what I'm working live on. I think is one of my greatest fears. I think just having ideas and not seeing them flushed out. Because I'm one of those people where you're like, God damn it, I wish I would have thought of Uber. God damn it, I wish I would have thought of.
Or you had the idea,
I,
like,
I,
no, someone already thought
I
of
wish I would have bought that stock.
it.
So I constantly journal. I constantly think about what's next for this iteration of me, and not seeing an idea fleshed out. I think is something that scares me because it can always be something that will take me to the next level or take my family to the next level. And making sure biggest fear is just also just not as people not advancing also. Like it's not just about me, it's about the generations that come up after us,
Mhm.
and making sure that they're together. And that's hard when you have certain jewels. That's why I've been a little bit more open with getting my story out there and talking openly about how I feel about the times that we're in, because my story can help somebody else. Even if it's one person, they can take something that I've said or you said and spin that. I usually always thought that platforms like this were for, the people with a million followers
Right.
and, people for celebrities. But then, we've been looking at these celebrities and these influencers and shit, they just regular people like us. So I, that's one of my biggest fears is somebody not having this tool set because I didn't have it. Nobody told me certain things. And I wish they would have had they had told me the things that I know now 10 years ago. Shit, this would have been happening. I would have been had what I needed. I would have been in this place. So that's a huge fear, just holding on to shit that should be shared with the next person.
That
Yeah.
is so crazy that you said that. Interesting. My pastor has said something that always sticks with me. He said that the uh, graves or graveyards are filled with dreams and aspirations that never came
Hmm.
into fruition, right? So I always think about that. I'm like,
Every time we have these damn things, like where something says said.
it's just like, it's true. While you're living, leave the legacy.
Yeah,
Whatever, throw all of your ideas at the wall. Maybe not everyone will stick, but at least you did. At least you tried. At least it's there to say, okay, well, that didn't work, but
right,
they tried. I don't, yeah, I would never want to die leaving something that I could have shared with the world.
right, and that it- same. I think that we all have these things in us that you got to get it out. You got to let people know about it. If you are creative and if you are an artist and you have these things, why are you holding on to it and share it? I've learned to not look left and right too much anymore. I'm so focused on my own. So, I'm not even worried about people taking or getting better, or
Right.
I don't care about you doing more than what I'm doing. I'm just focused on myself. I'm having a good time. So it really doesn't even matter.
What's meant for you is meant for you, man. Ain't nobody can take that.
Exactly. Exactly. So there's nothing wrong with sharing the wealth and sharing the gems and trying your best.
There's no one like you. And I just want to say happy birthday again. This has been a fantastic episode, another fantastic episode of Not Your Enemy Speak Out sessions, where we just aim to uplift other Black artists, creators, and we try to evoke change in the current social climate that we're in. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Until next time, we'll see you next time, guys. Bye bye.